Stay tuned for more from Liverpool's #1 student station. This is LS Radio. LS Radio.
So let's talk about Eco Africa, the exciting bit of it. How did that start? How did it start?
I would say first of all, I went for a competition in my university. I had a
Sorry, just a little thing going on. We'll start back your story.
That's fine. I went to my university. There was this competition, Make a Difference and award thing for entrepreneurs in my university. They give money to start up a business. I went there and I wanted to start a business, getting people to go work in Africa. So go create and transfer new innovations to Africa. And I pitched this to them, and I got an email back. And
Amazing.
The email said, "This is too ambitious for our plan."
Wow.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I was like,
Touch.
they've touched my feeling there. So I said, okay. I went and researched about different companies like Unilever, big, massive companies in Africa, how are they doing it? It's Cadbury, those sort of things, Pepsi, Coca-Cola. And all these companies look like they've made so much money and that's how they've gotten there. So I thought myself, I am not as big as this company, so what can I do to actually change things?
Change things on a small scale for now,
Yeah, so I came up with a structure, thinking about the fact that I'm very passionate about the economy. So I thought, okay, since they're not letting me do this, getting innovation, to Africa, I'm gonna just start working on this big plan that I have for the economy of Africa. And I discovered it wasn't just Africa that needs it now, it was the rest of the world. So Eco Africa started that same year. I decided, okay, I'm going to launch a society, and the society would be to encourage young people to develop themselves for the development of their local and global environments. I felt like education wasn't giving students the ability to develop themselves for the development. It was like you do your degree to get a job, but you're not doing your degree to develop the place.
Over a fifth of Africa students, I've got my facts here, they're out of school, so they lack the education not only in terms of how to actually be in the real world, but they lack the simple basic education.
Oh yeah, that and in a sense, it's like, what is education? Are we just getting people ready to be able to?
It's defining education. Isn't it?
It's like how do you get them ready to be able to develop their place, their community, and that's where the ECO came from. The E stands for environment, C for community, and the O for organization. And what we wanted to do was like, okay, if you're going to be in an organization, then you need a different skill for that. If you're going to be in the community and do something in the community, you need a different skill for that. If you're going to do something in the environment, you need a different skill for that. And then I see education now as being like not only learning intellectual skills, but actually learning cultural intelligence and emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence is really important. I've read a book about that.
And that helps you with community. So if you were going to be a community person, you'll be learning emotional intelligence.
Be with different people and like how to get what you want, I guess. Just put your points across to different individuals because everyone's different. And
True talk. But then I think this is the reason I've started this now, because then that could be a inspiration or influence people to start to see the world differently instead of seeing it like a one way. Having a fixed mindset, like, okay, you know what? We got to work in an organization. We need to work in Deloitte. We need to work in JP Morgan or Barclays or wherever it is that you need to work. And looking into it,
the names here.
I know, and looking into it like, okay, I need to work the way I am. I'm more of an emotional person. I want to be in the community doing community things, or I'm more of an environments person. I want to be doing that, and we should be able to give that option and be able to put the value. That the value is not only in Deloitte's, and all these big places, but the value is also in the community and also in the environments. And that was the whole reason for Eco Africa started.
How do you think everyone can get involved little by little, I guess?
Okay, so...
Would you say awareness of it, first of all?
We're spreading the word out right now. So we started in Salford University. In Salford University, it looks like we're getting the clash there. Another thing that I forgot to say was when I started the society, one of the reasons I also started was I looked around my university and there was a lot of African societies. There was a Nigerian society, Kenyan society, Ghana society, ACS, and and ACS. And I'm thinking, okay, so I went to all of them and I was like, what are you guys doing for Africa? And Nigerian society was like, we're just hanging out. It's like,
We're just having a good time
we're
together.
we're just coming together. And,
Yeah.
and I didn't see that as a problem, but I
No.
just said to them, okay, I want to start something new.
Let's
that
all
can,
join forces.
yeah, and that would improve Africa. We should start having societies that actually improve Africa.
Yeah.
That from here we know that we can then do something over there
Yeah.
because we're getting the knowledge from here.
100%.
And that's what made me even another reason I started Echo Africa. Getting people involved right now. We're spreading the world, and we're also building a digital platform.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a digital platform, and the digital platform will be launching out in the next couple of
What would
weeks
that
coming.
involve?
So you involve people going on the platform and becoming ambassador for
Okay.
a local or global place, which we launched 2 weeks ago. So we launched the Echo UN ambassadors, and what this entails is that you can put an idea on the platform that you have for your local place, and the idea could be tailored to an environment, an idea, or
And would
community.
that be a local place in Africa or just
Local place here,
Okay.
local place in Africa. You
Okay.
can choose both. The
Right.
platform gives you the option to choose both,
Yeah.
so you don't have to choose just one place. You could be like, oh, I'm from India, but at the
Yeah.
same time I live in the UK, so I want to help
I
the
wanna
UK,
help this
and I also want to help
community,
here too. I want to do something for the community here, but I want to do something for an organization here,
Yeah.
and it splits the sort
splits it.
of things that you can do because we're becoming global citizens.
Yeah.
You'll be able to also put problems on the platform.
Okay.
So if you have a problem in the environment, wherever you are, a community, you'll be allowed to put
Do
that
they
there.
get the support then from your company and from yourself on how to
Yeah.
further make it more sustainable of a
That's
project?
that's
Yeah.
the
That's
point.
the
Yeah, the
of
point.
it,
The point of the platform. It creates that then collaboration. So
Yeah.
when everybody can see your problem or see your idea, they can collaborate and work with you on it. At the same time, if you're putting a problem on the platform,
Yeah.
it's kind of like we're charging it for
Okay,
everybody
yeah.
putting a problem there. But we're just saying if you put a problem on the platform, pay $1.
Yeah.
And the reason we're saying pay $1 is that your dollar can also fund another problem, and
Yeah.
collectively it can be a new type
Would
of.
you call yourself a social enterprise?
I would call myself which is only something I've coined up recently,
Yeah.
a sustainable charity.
Okay.
But because I don't want to be a charity,
Charity.
registered as a
Yeah.
charity legally, I'm registered in a different way.
Okay.
But I would say we're a sustainable charity,
charity.
and we are trying to also influence charities to start looking at a sustainable way of
Yeah.
making their money and how they do their things.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, the platform will create collaboration, and then there'll be transparency of how things are done to
Yeah.
develop any local or global place.
Has there been any projects that you're working on at the moment that?
Yeah. So we have 3 projects at the moment. So we have a project with a young students
Yeah.
that have started a project to help some kids in Malawi.
Okay.
What she's trying to do is create booklets that could just show them the kind of careers they could
Yeah.
have as young people. And just a simple thing like that. And
Yeah.
all she's doing in that is putting a team together, and they raise the money to build those things, and then
Yeah.
she goes to Malawi and
Yeah.
does that. Another project that we started is hempenology.
Okay.
This
I've not heard.
yeah, I started this with my friend. My friend is very, very passionate about hemp.
Okay.
And if
Explain what
for
that
those
is,
that don't know, hemp is one of the biggest market growing right now in Canada and,
Yeah.
and America. They'll call it marijuana.
Okay.
But it's a $1 trillion company. But hemp is used for a lot of things. So it's
Yeah.
not only for the smoking purposes of it. It's used for materials. One of the strongest
Yeah.
materials. You can make one of the strongest concrete that even bullets wouldn't go through. It's so useful. You can make milk from it. You can actually
Yeah.
get like literally the whole plant is sustainable.
Yeah.
Another thing is that it grows in 6 weeks and
Yeah.
it produces the highest amount of
So it's
CO2.
high, quick
Yeah,
overgrowth,
yeah.
yeah,
So and it
turnover.
produces CO2. So if a
Yeah.
plant is producing CO2 you want to be planting it around, don't you?
Yeah.
So the highest level of CO2. So we're looking into doing
Yeah.
hempenology as well. So we're connecting with South Africa now, which is legal over there, and probably
Yeah.
try to connect to Canada and America as
Do you
well and
think
expand
because
this.
you're such an innovative person
Yeah.
that you get a lot of criticism and a lot of people conflicting your views?
I've got
And does that help you or does that affect you in?
it's
Yeah.
in a way, 2 ways.
I know it's a very
Wha-
tough question.
Yeah, in 2 ways. One way is like I'm motivated by the criticism because as an innovator, I know
I
that
can show
I'm
you
doing
that.
I'm doing
Yeah.
something right.
Yeah.
In another way, sometimes I'm just like,
Well, why can't you see it?
yeah. There's
It's
a
frustrating.
frustration
Yeah,
there.
there's a
Yeah, there's a
frustration.
frustration there, and that's
Yeah.
why I said resilience is one of my strongest skill.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those you just got to keep going if you know that
Yeah.
the change that you want to make is
And you know
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
making
yeah.
is it will help the community.
I was on a show recently, and I was speaking to the friends of mine there about Africans' mindsets.
Yeah.
And when I was talking about my company, somebody rang in and it said, what you're saying here sounds like a leveler. Because it is in my head, and I was able to even see what he was trying to say. Because GDP is a way of measuring a country's worth, but it's only measuring the country's worth based on product and services. So if England, if Japan, for instance, let's use Japan. Let's not use the UK. Japan now has the strongest passport, but it has the strongest passport now because it has the highest technology. So it's based on companies producing technology that's the most now. But what about the people factor? People working together to build something for their local town,
like collaboration,
or something like the environment. What is happening with that? Are we reducing the air pollution? Like I saw recently in India, like the whole town polluted, air pollution,
a lot of haze.
I know. And I'm like, who is measuring that one? Like what system is measuring that one? What part of the economy is measuring that one? And even in GDP, and like you said, the leveler is like, okay, so we start to measure your impact, because companies can go build their pollution companies down in another area and put the fresh nice office one in their city. And it's like, how do you measure the level of like what they're impacting in both places? So this is what eco is about now. So we've called it Eco Africa, Eco World. So it'd be, measuring Africa to the rest of the world. And then if other countries in the world want to start their own eco, contact us. You can start Eco Salford, Eco Manchester, Eco Liverpool, Eco UK.
We'll start
in
Liverpool.
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
What's one of your main goals in the next 5 years for Eco Africa? What do you plan to achieve in the next 5
To
years?
be able to start up projects on the eco platform that showcases the transparency of the beginning of that project to the end of the project, which is the whole point of even collecting what we're collecting now. The data that we're collecting is for everybody to work on projects on a platform, and you can see transparently from the beginning to the end of that project, and even continue to see the sustainable activity that project is offering to the environments, community, and organization. One thing I see that I want to be able to see in the next 5 years, that someone will go on their phone and be able to see their city and be able to see the environmental level of their city, be able to see the community level, the community level of it, and also be able to see the organization level of it, like, and know which is most of every country. Is it, you would know if you went to India, that there's more organization, industrial things going on over there, and there's less community. You would be able to see those kind of things to measure transparency, measure the real value of a city in every aspect, in the environmental aspect, in the community aspect, and the organization aspect.
How important is transparency? Why? What have made you think, it needs to be? We need to know things. We can't just keep it hidden.
Well, maybe based on my core value of commitment and fairness. And because I want people to be committed to doing the right thing and positive things. And I want them to be fair about it. And I think the only way that you can actually be that collaborative and fair is if you're transparent. So if I wanted to do something with you now, if I decided, I'm committed to doing this thing, this is what I want to do, and then I fairly say to you how I want to do it and what it entails,
so
you would be you would be more
build trust. I think it's really important for a company like yours. Well, it's important for every company.
That's right.
To build trust, knowing that what you're doing is actually helping Africa. It's actually helping the community, and I think that's really vital.
And maybe even remove that fear now. The fear that I'm just going to radically say this now, but there's this fear of the Western people having that they've done something and they don't know how to go sort it out. I was having a conversation with a group of people at some recent event I went to about the UN goals. And the one thing about eco is as well that we divide the we'll talk about that as we go along. But I was speaking to them and I said to them, why is it that you don't know what to do in Africa? And he was like, oh, well, we've done things. We go over there, we build a school, and then when we build a school, they don't know how to, run the school. And I said to them, that's because you're not asking them what they need you to put over there, and you're afraid of because it's like a guilty conscience thing. So maybe this is a way to actually. Transparency can solve that problem because then you're like, okay, this is what I have. I'm this is how much I have. Well, what do you guys want to do with that?
Yeah.
And then maybe that would help,
From currently seeing as well for Eco Africa, do you see it's more of the millennials and the generation X,
Yeah,
that's more passionate about it? Is that what you've seen, the correlation?
From what I've seen so
Yeah.
far, most of the people that speak to me about it or come to me about it are mostly the young people. I've had older generation fascinated by it.
But not.
But they've not found themselves in it yet,
Okay.
and they will find themselves eventually. But it's more of the young people, and I'm very passionate about young people. Very, very passionate about we creating a new future for ourselves and the generation that'll come after us, our children and our children's children. We don't want to be like our forefathers. We want to be a new type of people. Another thing I'll add to my 5 years is that in the next 5 years, I want to be able to see young people becoming social and ethical to create sustainability. So that they're more social, they're interacting and working together, and they're more ethical in the way they do it.
What's your end goal? What's your big goal? At what point would you say, I've done well, I've done this, I've achieved what I want to achieve?
When I become a farmer.
A farmer?
Yeah. When I
Why is that?
when I fully have a massive farm that feeds the world. That's all.
Physical farm, or just mental?
A physical farm. Yeah. That's my retirement plan. I hope to retire as soon as I'm able to, set up such a platform, and if it works and it's
Where would
working.
you want to retire?
Somewhere in Africa. Have a big farm there and just sit on my farm every day and ride horses.
Read my
and,
books.
and read my books. Amazing. That would be a very surreal and just calm life to live.
Is there anything you want to add about Eco Africa that you'd want to?
Well, you can follow us. You can check us out. We're if you search us on social media, we're the New Eco People. We've called ourselves that. You can also go and check our website. It's called worldeco.uk. Soon it will be changed to New Eco People. So we've just bought that domain as well. So you can check that out too. In the next few weeks, the platform will be launched. So look out for it. Look out for that, and we will be hopefully making a change in the world. Another thing I forgot to say is that we divide every idea or problems that you're putting on there using the UN Sustainability Goals. And for those that don't know the UN Sustainability Goals, it was something that started in 2015, the world leaders coming together and forming the UN goals. So if you went on the platform and you had an environmental problem, if you click the environment, you'll be able to see the UN goals there. They're all under the environment. If you had a community problem, you'll be able to see what community problem that you're putting a problem about, or if you were putting an organization problem, you'll be able to see that too as well. And if they were not under those UN goals, then we give people the chance to put their own goals, hoping that in the next time that they have the UN meeting, they would be looking into they'll be looking into the goals that people have put on a platform, expressing their pain and the way that they want things to be done. The power should be given back to the people, and giving back to the people properly. In my opinion, I love democracy, but democracy that limits freedom is not for me, and it's becoming a word like that now, and I don't like that.
We'll end on that actually. And then we'll come back and we'll talk more about your influences in life and the mindset.
Oh, I think I was already jumping into that, wasn't I already?
We'll get more into it. We'll get deeper into it.